God is still working miracles. So you gotta understand that. When it comes to the Most High God, when it comes to Him, He's still a miracle working God. You have to understand that a lot of people nowadays, they like to deny God. They don't like to give God His props. They like to think that God's miracles are only in the Bible days. There was only 2,000 years ago in the Old Testament and New Testament. But you gotta understand that God's still a miracle working God. He's still a God who does miracles for His people. He's still a God who favors His people. With God, all things are possible. I've seen so many testimonies of people being healed from cancer, sicknesses, plagues. God opening doors for people to get jobs, businesses, loans, all types of different things, cars. You could have a low credit score. You could have a 450 credit score, and God could still allow you to have your own house at a low interest. God is still a miracle working God. Never doubt Him. Never doubt the plan that He has towards your life. Never doubt what He can do for you, because God can do great things. Because with God, all things are possible. With God, look, us just waking us up today is a testimony to His grace, mercy, and favor. Because many people did not even make it to see today. Many people did not even make it to see some of your ages. Some of y'all are probably in your 20s, 30s, 50s, and 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, however old you are. Just always remember, there's a lot of people who did not live to see your age. Like me, I'm only in my mid-20s. And I can tell you this, that there's a lot of people who did not make it to my mid-20s. There's a lot of people who did not even make it to see my age. That's why you should always be grateful, because God is still a God who does miracles. And He's still a God of grace, mercy, and favor. I never let nobody deny the power of God, because I've seen too many people get healed from all different types of sources. God can always open doors for you when you're following Him and seeking Him. Especially in the world, a lot of people do not like to believe in God. A lot of people like to doubt God. So many people nowadays, they're just spoiled. A lot of people, they don't get, like, something doesn't go their way and they're quick to turn on God. They're quick to reject His word. But yet they have no problem going back to different parties, going to all these different clubs, when even if something doesn't work out, even if they go through a bad time, they don't mind going back to their world. But all of a sudden, people have one bad encounter with God and they quick to reject Him. It's sad how many people treat God. It's really sad, and it's fake, because you didn't treat your homeboy like that. You didn't treat your homegirl like that. They do you dirty, and yet allow you people still hang around them. A lot of you people go from relationship to relationship to relationship with all these different people who are not good for you, and yet you still keep going back to those different types of people with the same similar traits and personalities. But yet you quick to neglect God after one bad experience. People gotta really be careful how you treat God, because it is not right. And you gotta understand that sometimes when God doesn't allow things to happen, it's for your greater good, because He's working something out in your favor. He's working something out that's better for you. So never think that just because God didn't allow something to happen, that He neglected you, or because He's turning against you. No. Sometimes rejection is God's protection. Sometimes God doesn't want things to happen for you because He has something better in store for you. Maybe God didn't allow you to get that job just because it wasn't good for you. Might have been paying 6-7 figures, right? But guess what? You might have been stressed. You probably would have been lonely. You probably had to deal with a bad boss. Same thing for a lot of you men who get with these different types of women. You probably get with these types of women, right? And God allows them to reject you, and you think it's something that is something about yourself. No, maybe that person wasn't good for you. Same thing for you women who get with some of these types of men. God might allow some of these men to reject you because they're not good for you, because that's not what He has in store for you. They're not part of your God-given destiny. They're not ordained to walk along your path alongside of you. Not everybody's chosen to go down the same road as you. That's why Jesus picked the disciples, because when Christ picked the disciples, He picked people who were serious about the kingdom of heaven. He didn't pick people who wanted to be around and play around in this world and not take their walk with God serious. No, He picked people who were willing to go all out for God the Father in the kingdom of heaven. He picked the right people for a kingdom, and guess what? They got the job done. Of course, Jesus, He knew that Judas was a devil from the beginning. But guess what? Judas was picked due to prophecy. Jesus was already seeing through him. That's why Jesus, when it was time for Him to be crucified, He told Judas, do what he has to do and do it quickly, because He knew that Judas was going to turn on Him. He said, let's just get it over with. So nobody could fool Jesus. But nevertheless, God is still a God who works miracles. Whatever you believe in God for, whether it's a job, a business, a God-ordained marriage, God-ordained friends, a new city, new state, new country, wherever you're believing God for, keep believing Him for it. This is for people who are really doing God's will and seeking Him. This is for people who are really living for God. Keep seeking him and don't give up on it. Don't give up, because a lot of times people, they'll know some of your dreams and goals, right? And they'll try to down you, and they try to laugh at your dreams and goals, because some of them either don't think that you deserve it, or some of them think it's a joke. Wherever God prophesies over your life, always keep believing it, because God will allow it to come to pass. Whether God ordained for you to have your own business, God ordained for you to have a successful marriage, God ordained for you to be happy in life, God ordained for you to be successful and wealthy, God ordained you to be a millionaire like King Solomon, with a lot of money. Wherever God ordained you to be, always keep believing the plan. Keep believing what he showed you, because God showed you a lot of stuff about yourself, and a lot of dreams, vision. God probably used a lot of his people to talk to you. And never doubt what God has in store for you, because God can bring it to pass, because he's the one who picked you. It wasn't man. What God spoke over your life, he spoke that over your life before the foundation of the earth. So never let man's opinion think that it's over God's opinion, because what God says in the end is really what matters, because who God blesses, no man can curse. But nevertheless, guys, keep this message. Do not let nobody down the plans that God has in store for your life. Be blessed and have a safe day.